So hello everyone. So in this today's discussion we are going to discuss about the epithelial tissues and the basic functioning and the key features of epithelial tissue. So epithelium is a word is a plural of the epithelium. So let's first begin with the what is the meaning of epithelium. So epithelium is made up of the two words, that is epi, which means the upon, and thelium means to grow. It means that they are kind of the tissues which are growing on something, and the portion on which the tissues are growing is termed as the basement membrane. We will look after what is the functioning and what is the composition of the basement membrane. But first let's discuss about this epithelium tissues. So the tissue either faces a body fluid or external involvement. Means they have a free surfaces. So they can either face the body fluid, which is actually the lining of the cavities of our inside body, that is the coelomic cavities, or either a protective function or the lining of our upper part of the skin, that is the epidermal part. So they have a free apical surface. Later we will discuss what is apical surface. They are the first tissue derived during the embryonic life. So when our life as a baby starts, they are the first kind of the tissue which takes place to grow. And the next is that they are derived from all the three layers. So let's first understand what is the meaning of this line, that they are derived from all the three germ layers. So let's first understand this by example. Suppose we have this sketch of our body, and this is the body wall, and this is the epidermal of the skin also. So this part is basically derived from the ectoderm layer. Next we have this part, that is coelom. So in the coelomic cavity, the inner lining and the topmost lining of the gut, they both are derived as the mesothelium, and they are derived from the mesoderm. So inside the gut, this lining is termed as the inside portion is termed as the mucosa, and this portion is going to be termed as the endodermic origin part. So this is something about the origin of these all the epithelial tissues. We have a next key feature, that these cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix. Means the cells are very closely packed, so that intercellular matrix, which is a cementing material of the cell, is very little among them. As we can see that we have an example figure here, we can understood by this that there is a very little intercellular spaces between them. Next thing is that what is the absence of them? There is an absence of the blood vessel, lymph vessel, or any kind of the glandular vessel. So as we know that blood is the mode to give a nutrition to someone body organ. Any body organ can get nutrition from its capillaries which reaches to them, or any kind of the blood vessel which reaches to them. But there is an absence of the blood vessels, so who will provide the nutrition to them? So for providing the nutrition, there is a layer present just below the epithelial tissues, which is called as the basement membrane. So let's write down here that it is this layer termed as the basement membrane. They are also avascular in terms of the blood vessels, but they contains the diffusionary blood particles, which easily diffuses from this basement membrane and easily reaches to this tissues, which is epithelial tissues, and their nutrition process or the nutritional process gets succeeded. Friends, this basement membrane is also of the two layers. The one layer is termed as the basal lamina, and another layer is termed as the fibrous lamina. So they both are the subparticles of basement membrane. Basal lamina is made of the glycoproteins. Basal lamina is made of the glycoproteins, whereas fibrous lamina is made up of the mucopolysaccharides. Now, this glycoprotein is basically secreted by these epithelial tissues. Sorry, this arrow is in wrong direction. And this fibrous lamina is basically secreted by this connective tissue. So this is basically a connective tissue present here. There is a presence of the connective tissue just below the basement membrane. It is highly rich in the blood vessels, and it carries blood capillaries to diffuse the blood particles for the nutrition purpose to this basement membrane, from which it intermediately refers the diffuses blood particles to this epithelial tissues to get the nutritional processes. Okay, so here we can see a blood particle, that is blood particle. This fibrous lamina is basically secreted by the connective tissues. Later we will discuss that three kinds of the fibers are found in the connective tissues, in the matrix of the connective tissue, which is actually the components of the connective tissue proper. They are going to be the collagen, reticulin, and the yellow fiber, white fibers. Later we will discuss that. So this is something. This is the apical part of the apical part. This is the lateral part or the basal part. So this is the nomenclature of this diagram. Now let's discuss something else on that. The key feature of this type of tissues is that they have a high regeneration power. What does this mean? Suppose we have our skins. In a month, 2 months or 3 months, they get degenerated due to the mechanical stresses, chemical stresses, due to the environmental pollutions. So our epidermal skin has a very high power of regeneration. They can regenerate themselves very easily and very fastly. We will discuss them later that neural tissues have a very less power of such type. So this is the key feature of them, and that's one of the important question for the need point of view. Next we have seen that there is an absence of the blood vessels and the lymph vessels or any glandular vessel. Let's discuss some parts of them. So epithelial tissue is basically classified into the two parts, that is the simple epithelium and the compound epithelium. They are the basic key feature of the simple epithelium is that they are single layered and they are multi-layered. Now if they are single layered, they will perform the function of lining of the cavities, body organs and some smooth organs. And because they are multi-layered, they can perform the protection. Like in our epidermal skin, there is a lot of mechanical and chemical stresses found at there. So to protect our body from such kind of the mechanical and chemical stresses, they can perform the function of the protection. So we can write that in a skin, and they can be found in many parts, such as they can be found in the stomach, pancreas, etc. So in this video we have discussed about the epithelium tissues, the basic functioning of the epithelium tissues, the basic nomenclature of some diagrams of epithelium tissue. Later on we are going to discuss in the next lecture that the classification of the simple epithelium tissues. Till then, sign off, keep learning, happy learning, thank you.